two men are around town selling magazines to raise money. They claim to be starting a business or competing in a scholarship competition, but it's all a scam. Good evening and thanks for joining us.
You might want to be careful next time you answer your door. Recently, there have been at least 3 reported magazine scams around campus. Brandon Marshall talked with 2 students about what happened when they heard a knock on their door.
Imagine you're having dinner and after you hear a knock on the door, you answer it, and 2 people are telling you that they are a part of a competition and that they're selling magazines around the area. Interested, you invite them into your apartment to hear more information. This is what happened to Elon Jr., just married Jordan, and her 2 apartment mates before they realized they were all being scammed.
He was very fast talking, very practiced approach, practiced delivery. It was very clean, and but it was just very quick.
Even with a quick delivery, the 2 sellers spent about 30 minutes inside. Uneasy, yet still wanting to help, Jordan paid for the magazines with checks instead of cash.
They're checks from a bank account that had been closed for 3 years, so good luck getting money out of that.
Jordan called campus police once the 2 people left. The officer who responded saw one of the sellers in the parking lot. The officer gave him a warning because he did not have a permit. The seller then left the Crest Apartments and later that night approached residents here at College Station.
And he continued to tell me that he was a Boy Scout. It was a boys versus girls competition, and that if he got enough points, he would get a scholarship to win a free trip to Italy.
Elon's senior Rachel Berman gave the man $100 after she subscribed to the Rolling Stones and Self magazine. When the guy left, Berman went online to check out the website that he mentioned. It looked okay at first.
So I looked up that company again and typed in scam next to it in Google. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of entries came up.
Berman says she called police in order to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else.
Until the magazines don't arrive, no real crime has occurred. It's really not a fraud at this point.
Not fraud, but Berman is still out of $100. Brandon Marshall, Phoenix14 News.
The investigation is still ongoing. If you're still worried about being scammed, we've gathered some tips to help you. First, resist pressure to make a quick decision. Legitimate companies will give you time to decide whether to take the offer. Use Google to research magazine companies, and if you read a review online, make sure it's legitimate. Anyone could write a review to make their company seem better. Finally, just use your gut. If you feel like you're being scammed, contact the Elon police.
One residence hall is finally filled after students were forced to move out. Mallory Lane joins us with continuing coverage of the students who were forced to move out of Hook just 3 weeks after moving in. Mallory?
For several weeks now, the students of Hook Residence Hall have been waiting to get the all clear to move back into their rooms after Physical Plant found mold growing in their building. I caught up with one student while she moved back into her dorm.
We were so excited last night. We were dancing around our apartment saying, we're going to move back to Hook.
After weeks of waiting, the residents of Hook Hall are ready to move back in.
They gave us less than 24 hours notice.
2 weeks ago, Amy DeNeno and the other 2nd and 3rd floor residents of Hook were told they needed to pack their bags and move out.
They told us at 5:30 Friday evening, and then Saturday at 10 a.m. we had to be here, start packing up, and it took us until 3 p.m. to actually get all of our stuff together and into moving vans.
The problem?
Fungal spores and mold spots everywhere.
Mold.
It was along here on our door, and then it was right there.
Amy and her roommate were told their room had it the worst.
It was really disgusting. Once they pointed it out, we were like, oh, lovely.
As soon as the students were moved out, Physical Plant began their work to get the mold out and be sure it wouldn't come back again.
We finished cleaning up the spaces on Monday and started putting everything back together and put the furniture back in last night and this morning, and the students are moving in today.
Director of Physical Plant Robert Buckles says the problem is gone for good.
Yes, it is. We took care of the problem. And just as long as we keep the space dry and the humidity down to where it should be, then we'll be fine.
In the meantime, the residents can unpack their bags and get on with their freshman year.
So we're moving back in, so it's our 3rd move-in day.
For now, the problem is fixed and the weather is cooling down, both of which should prevent the mold from returning.
Hook residents moved back in just in time to help their residence hall in this year's Powerless Energy Challenge. The competition officially started last Thursday and offers a first-place prize of $250 to the building that reduces their energy usage the most. You can track your building's efficiency and see where you stand in the running by going to buildingdashboard.net/Elon.
After settling into its new home more than a month ago, Barnes & Noble finally celebrated its move to the Elon Town Center. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held Friday during a grand opening celebration. 2 more businesses will soon call the Elon Town Center home. Later this month, Pandora's Pies and Smitty's Ice Cream will be open for business.
If you like to shop, there are some new stores in Alamance Crossing for you to check out. Kohl's and BJ's Membership Club both opened last week. BJ's also offers a gas for a low price to members only. 3 more stores will soon join BJ's and Kohl's. Five Below and Dick's Sporting Goods open this Friday, and Pier 1 Imports is set to open later this month.
The NBA lockout may be in place, but that didn't stop New Orleans point guard Chris Paul from hosting an All-Star exhibition game in the Triad. Phoenix 14's Joe Bruno was at the game and has the full story.
My grandfather was about this. He was about community and home and giving back.
Chris Paul wanted to do something in his grandfather's honor after he was murdered in 2002. The Winston-Salem native hosted the CP3 All-Star pickup game to benefit Winston-Salem State Athletics and the CP3 Foundation last Saturday, a foundation in honor of his late grandfather.
Everybody, they always like, why here, why here? This is home for me. And growing up as a kid, I never got this opportunity.
More than 4,000 people came to the game at Winston-Salem State to see Chris Paul and his friends.
People say this and that about NBA players and professional athletes, but these guys are doing this out of the goodness of their heart, and I'm grateful that they decided to come.
Players including LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and John Wall flew to Winston-Salem on their own money and put on quite a show. During halftime, Paul presented a check to WSSU's athletic program for $25,000, which will help fund additional scholarships for the program. But Paul also wanted students in attendance to be inspired after attending the game.
I just hope they take away from this game the fact that if they believe in themselves and work hard, the sky's the limit, anything is possible.
There was no doubt that the players had fun, but Paul's ready for the lockout to be over so they can get back to playing their favorite game.
We'll just continue to negotiate and hopefully we get a deal done, because at the end of the day, we want to play this game that we love.
Paul's team defeated James' team 175 to 146. However, the real winner was the Winston-Salem community. Joe Bruno, Phoenix 14 News.
Chris Paul's charity game tour is not over. Paul and his superstar lineup will be competing in Miami this week, a week that would normally be spent at NBA training camp. For stats and pictures from last night's game, visit our website at phoenix14news.wordpress.com.
Another coyote sighting has Burlington residents concerned.
Brenda and I were walking to another friend's place through the Lemon Quad, and we saw an animal over to the left by the woods, just trotting along. And we don't know exactly what it was, if it was a wolf or coyote, but it looked like a
Spoke to Animal Control, who said that coyote sightings are nothing out of the ordinary, but students need to be careful when walking back to their rooms at night. If you do see a coyote, immediately report it to campus security. Do not approach the coyote and don't touch it. Coming up on Phoenix 14 News. This month, Elon is going from maroon to pink. We'll tell you how the color change can help some people cope with disease.
Up next, if you're sick of eating in dining halls, a new Elon Club has the solution to spice up your meal options.
From the lows to the highlights, stay with us till the end of the show for all of your Elon football coverage. Campus organizations rely heavily on meal plan donations to raise money. Since Airmark set a weekly cap and meal plans now include all access plans, students can only donate a portion of what they used to. But Airmark is still supporting the local community. Katie O'Brien found out how.
It's as easy as a swipe. Your Phoenix card used to double as a good deed for the day. But now that the meal plans have changed, organizations are finding it harder to get funds from student donations.
We've been a little bit spoiled with the meal plans.
Katie Kinney is a senior Periclean scholar and an intern at the Kernodle Center, 2 organizations which have raised thousands through donated meal plans.
I think it's going to be a challenge for a lot of the Periclean classes to diversify where they're getting their funding from.
The senior class of Periclean scholars raised $22,000 to fund their projects in India and teamed up with Hillel to raise $2,000 in 1 week for Haiti earthquake relief.
With a weekly cap implemented last year and restrictions on donations of all access meal plans, Airmark is driving organizations like these Periclean scholars to look for different resources for funds. But Airmark isn't keeping the money.
They haven't cut back on their philanthropy, they've just readjusted where it's gone.
Aramark is now using the money that would have gone with meal plan donations to fund the Elon chapter of Campus Kitchen. The project started last February with a $50,000 donation from the food provider.
It's a more mindful, measured, organized giving program through the community kitchen, whereas before it was more catch as catch can, unorganized and Darwinian.
Between time donated in dining hall kitchens and extra food from events, Aramark supplies allied churches with up to 200 meals a week.
It's a fantastic project that's involving students across campus at Elon, and it's supporting our local community.
So even though organizations like Periclean Scholars are looking for new sources of support, Aramark is continuing to take strides towards sustainable outreach in the community.
It's also a really good learning experience for students. It's more like the real world. In real life, you're not just going to be able to sit at a table and ask people to donate meal plans.
Katie O'Brien, Phoenix 14 News.
Students can now only donate swipes from guest meals or combo meals from the +7, +14, or block portions of their plans. All access meal plans cannot be donated. You might not be able to donate meal plans, but if you're looking to help out a campus organization, you can donate food to Elon Hillel. Hillel is holding their annual food drive this week. They're accepting non-perishable canned foods, sanitary products, and cash. The donations will be given to the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina.
Study abroad is a popular option for many Elon students, but not everyone can afford the expenses of a study abroad program. Our Elizabeth Cantlener takes a look at a new club that helps students experience the world without ever leaving Elon.
I have a large passion for cooking, and I had a whole bunch of buddies and I that like to do the same. Jumped off the meal plans and started doing that.
Julian Loubier is a junior at Elon. He started the cooking club last year with some of his friends, and it has grown more than he expected this year.
We had 30 kids last year, and this year we had over 300 sign up, so it just turned into something a lot more fun than I thought I was getting into.
Loubier's cooking club isn't just about the food.
Before every meal, we like to do a little bit of research on the meal, kind of, while I'm cooking it, I'm saying, this is traditional, this isn't.
Not all Elon students can afford to study abroad, but the cooking club is making it easy for people to experience new cultures right here in their own kitchen.
I just love to cook and I like food, so I might as well join the cooking club.
Freshman Lauren Snow's inspiration to join came from home.
My mom is like a gourmet chef at home, so she cooks all of our meals for dinner, and I love watching her cook, and sometimes I'll cook with her.
She joined to get a taste of the Spanish culture.
I would love to study abroad, but at the same time, I don't know if I'll be able to, so this could be my experience in Spain, Mexico, studying and eating the culture food.
After cooking for 2 hours, members walked away with a brain full of knowledge and a stomach full of Spanish food. Elizabeth Cantlener, Phoenix 14 News.
The cooking club is planning to meet 8 times a semester and has already started planning French and Japanese themed nights.
Friday, the Now What student group held a night walk through campus to continue efforts to stop discrimination. At the Each One Teach One event, participants were encouraged to bring friends, but then walked in pairs with someone they'd never met. They took the loop from Mosley through Daniel Lee Center to discuss what steps Elon should take to increase tolerance.
The latest numbers from the Elon poll are out, and they show that a majority of North Carolinians disapprove of the ban on same-sex marriage. 56% of those polled oppose the North Carolina constitutional amendment that will be on the ballot in May. The poll also shows a drop from 2 years ago in the number of people who oppose legal recognition for same-sex couples. Other topics covered by the poll included favorability of Governor Beverly Perdue and the state's economy.
North Carolinians won't be the only ones voting on gay marriage. The Supreme Court agreed to take on gay marriage during its 2011-2012 term, which started today. In the gay marriage case, the court will try to determine whether a voter-approved state initiative violates the civil rights of same-sex couples. Most voter-approved initiatives define marriage as only between one man and one woman.
I'm emotional today only because this is huge seeing all this today.
Coming up after the break, how supporting the Pink Life can help a person in need.
A live band and hand-painted murals. Find out which new business in Burlington has people dancing the night away. Stay tuned, we're back in 2.